Hey guys, so I don't know if this would be brought up from you guys at some point, given that you guys know what I do for a job. So for people who don't know, I work in a factory and I'm the baler, but our factory makes carpets for cars and trucks and all that. And these guys are on strike. And these guys are part of companies, three companies that Stellantis, was it Ford? Ford or Chevy, and GM. Even Friday, yesterday, I went to work and I was heading down to the baler, and I noticed the Stellantis machines completely off. The area was dark, so pretty much they're not running right now. Um, so it obviously it's going to have repercussions on our factory, considering that's what we do is carpets for these companies. So you were probably thinking, well, what kind of repercussions? Well, probably hour cuts, or rather, for me, day cuts. So I go in Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Um, Usually fall and winter. I end up not going in every Friday anyway. It'll get to Thursday, my boss will text me like, "Oh, don't come in tomorrow. You're off tomorrow." But with this going on, it might be I go into work on Monday and then she texts me on Tuesday like, "Oh, don't come in tomorrow." And then Thursday she'll like, "Don't come in tomorrow." So it might be that. I think we'll probably see hour cuts, or for me, day cuts, because I'll go in, I'll still work the same amount of hours I work. I just won't have as many days, which right now isn't as bad because I still take care of June, and my rent is taking care of June alone. That pays my rent. So, um, the factory is just kind of everything else, the internet and stuff like that. Um, but I've got, I should think I would have enough money to kind of, with that stuff until everything was, so, comes to a solution, an agreement. But these people are demanding things, 32-hour work weeks instead of 40. They're also 36% increase over 4 years for their pay. So they want to work less hours but get paid more. The two-tier wage system, so everyone's on the same wage scale. It doesn't work like that. That's like saying, going to McDonald's, a entry level job, and having people who flip burgers on the same wage scale and making the same wages as the managers. It doesn't work like that. It you know. Reinstate cola. Why do they take cola out? You guys are stuck with Pepsi? I mean, I don't care for either one. When I want to quench my thirst, I grab a nice Monster Energy drink. Not sponsored, but I should be. Please sponsor me. Somebody get this man a sponsorship with Monster. Um, but unions are just not needed anymore. Back in the day, unions were needed. You had these places, factories and stuff that didn't really have rules and regulations. They had asbestos everywhere. Just dangerous places. Unlawful work hours and this and that. But we're not like that anymore. We have rules, we have regulations and all that. So unions are just a thing of the past that people seem to think are going to affect, you know, have an outcome. But guess what? And this is a sad truth that no one wants to face. You're expendable. All these people on strike, you're expendable. You're doing a grunt's job for this company. They can hire anyone else to walk in to do your job. Like the people watching me right now, what do you do for a living? Chances are it's something that easily, even I shouldn't say easily, but they can replace you. You're not one of a kind. You're not special. You're not some super special, awesome person who, no, you're expendable. Me, I'm expendable. We're all freaking expendable to these CEOs and all the, managers and us, all this and that. So these unions, it's like, look at Hollyweird. You have these Hollyweird weirdos on strike thinking that they're like these special snowflake geniuses who can create the best story. No, you're expendable. Anyone can go into that writer. Hell, I could go into that writer's room and make a better story than they could, because my stories would be stories that entertain people and not preach to them. Any one of us could go in and do their jobs. But these people don't realize they're expendable. They can be replaced at any second. The companies can say, well, we're not going to give in to your demands. And they can say, well, we're just going to keep striking. And then these companies can say, okay, we're just going to find people to replace you then. So it's either you come back to work or have fun being unemployed. So it's sad, but it's the truth of capitalism and corporate America. You know, unless you're top tier, higher up. You know, why do you think they don't, you know, when you get sick, it's like, oh, well, sick, sorry. Nothing we can do. Just get someone to replace you. It's like, if you don't do your job, that's fine. We'll just have someone else to come in and do it. But, yeah, for me, it's probably be less out or less days, and less to do. So it happens every year. So apart from maybe it happening, from it happening possibly more than once a week, it happens every year for us. It gets to, you know, October and all that, October, November, and suddenly for some reason contracts just start running dry. And I'm like, I even asked, it's like, why is it that contracts are so scarce in the winter time, you know, fall and winter? No one can really give a good answer. I'm like, do they not sell cars or make cars and all that stuff in the winter, you know, fall and winter? I mean, what's the deal? Why do we have less contracts at that time? But it happens every year. Every year. I've been there for a total of 5 years, and it happens every year. It happens every year. You know, it's like, oh, hey, don't come in tomorrow. Don't come in tomorrow. You know, that being a Thursday, and they're calling me saying, hey, don't come in tomorrow, meaning Friday. And that's the weirdest part. It's never during the week. It's always don't come in on Friday. But you're expendable. You're not some special individual that's keeping the place going all by yourself. And if you don't want to come in and do the job as it is, then they'll just replace you. You know, now my job, it's like, you know, people would say, you know, maybe you should ask for a pay raise, because I work with heavy machinery and I get paid only $9 an hour. While the people who work with the other machinery, that machinery that pretty much works itself, they get like 20. People tell me all the time, you should be getting more. But I'm not going to do, because it's, again, I'm expendable. It's like, okay, well, if you don't like how much you're getting paid, you can find another job that pays you more and we'll just replace you. So, unfortunately, nowadays, if you're a grunt or a peon or whatever you want to call yourself, you don't really have the luxury of complaining about things. You know, it's not a sign, you know, it's just how things are. You know, now sometimes complaining about things can help. In fact, me complaining about the baler being broken got it fixed finally after 3 freaking years. And all it took was just talking and saying things to the right people. You know, it wasn't fixed for 3 years. The guy comes down. I mentioned that the thing was out of hydraulic fluid. And if you could tell the, you know, maintenance to go down there. And he's like, oh, it sounds like the cylinder is broken. I'm like, yeah, it is broken. It's like 3 years. And then a week later, the thing's getting fixed. So it's just a matter of talking to the right people. But in this case, having all these demands, your strike is going to go about as well as Hollyweird's right now. It's if you don't want to go into work and accept your wages and hours and this and that, they'll just get people who will. I mean, there's a lot of illegals in this country who will probably go and do those jobs. So there's that. Um, but we're all expendable. Every one of us could just, for whatever reason, at any time. When we die, are they gonna, are they gonna sit there and mourn our loss and be like, oh my god, this position can never be filled again? No, they're gonna replace you easily. Think about it that way. Think about when you die. Say you're working at that job, and when you die, what's gonna happen? Nothing. They're not gonna be, oh, okay, guys, we gotta shut everything down. No, you're just going to replace you. You're nothing to them. So all the striking, all it's gonna do, you could be there making money. Instead, you're wasting your freaking time picketing and being on strike. Don't these guys have families to feed? You're making it worse for yourselves. Just go back to work. Seriously. Corporate America doesn't care. The sooner you learn that, the better. But anyway, yeah, I'm sure people were gonna ask at some point, like, John, what do you know this automotive strike, and you said you make carpets for these companies, and what's gonna happen? Probably just days off. I don't know, or just days off. Because we're always gonna have some kind of business, because we have like 4 or 5 companies, and this is only 3 of them, unless those other companies get involved. But right now, it's just I think Ford, GM, and Stellantis. So as long as we have some companies working and getting contracts from, we're still gonna have work. It's not like the factory's gonna shut down. And even if it did, we would get unemployment from that. So either way, I'm fine. you know. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me though. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.